Here's the reality that most people are too scared to tell you. If you're always working to earn your money, you're never going to become wealthy. And if you want your money to make you money, the only way that you can do that is by investing your money. That's what real wealth is. Real wealth is when you have enough money coming in from your investments to pay for your expenses, to pay for your vacations, to pay for your bills. That way you don't have to work to earn that money. But the only way you can get there is if you work on your investments. It's not by your salary, it's not by saving, it's not by spending your money, it's by investing your money. And that means if you want to be able to manage your money better and never worry about being broke again, you have to also start creating income from your investments. Now, hear me very carefully. This is not something that happens overnight. It's not something that's going to happen over a year. It is a decade of sacrifice. A lot of people on the internet want to sell you this get-rich-quick scheme on how you become wealthy by buying this simple system, when in reality, the way you do it is by making smart investments, having the research to stay ahead of market shifts, and then executing for a long period of time. It doesn't happen in 1 month, it doesn't happen in 1 year, but over a decade, you will be able to transform your finances, but it starts by taking the first step. Now, there's a lot of ways that you could put your money to work. I mean, you can invest in stocks, you can invest in real estate, you can invest in businesses. And at the end of the day, you have to do what's right for you. But the key point that I want you to understand, besides the fact that you have to invest your money if you want to become wealthy, is understanding how you want to get paid and have a plan to become wealthy. I'll tell you what I do, but I have to remind you that I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a random guy on YouTube, and investing has risks. You are never guaranteed to make money when you invest. In fact, you will lose money at some point, so make sure you always do your own due diligence and never blindly trust a random guy on YouTube. But my goal, my primary goal, is cash flow, which means most of my investments, not all, but most of my investments are cash flow producing. That means I'm buying investments that pay me either every month or every 3 months or every year sometimes, and I get paid without having to go to work inside my investments. I'll show you what I mean. I invest in real estate. Now, when I invest in real estate, my goal is not to flip the property. My goal is not to see the property go up in value. In fact, I don't care if housing prices go up or down. My goal is to buy a property and then rent it out and have the tenants pay all the expenses and put some money in my pocket every single month. Period. That's how I measure my real estate success. I don't care what's going on with the housing market. I don't care what's going on with housing prices. I want the rental income to pay the expenses and put money in my pocket every single month. The other thing that I do is I also invest in dividend-paying funds. If you've watched some of my other videos, you know that I have a system where I'm investing money into the stock market every single week. Now, when I do this, I'm investing into funds called ETFs. All that means is it's a basket of stocks. Now, when I'm investing in these funds, there's multiple funds that I invest in, but the majority of my portfolio is cash flow producing, meaning dividend paying. And these dividends are profit distributions. So there are some companies, for example, McDonald's, that have huge profits at the end of the year, billions of dollars of profits. And there's 3 things that they can do with those profits. They can take that money and reinvest it back into the company and open new franchises and create new burgers. The second thing they can do is save this money for an emergency. The third thing they can do is just give it away to their shareholders, investors, people like you and me. That giving it away is called a dividend. And they deposit this money directly into your brokerage account. When I make these investments every week, the majority of these funds that I'm investing in are paying out dividends. These dividends are paid out every quarter, meaning every 3 months. And so every week I'm buying more of this cash flow, and then when these entities pay me, I just reinvest it to create more cash flow, because my goal is to stack the cash flow. I like cash flow because I don't have to sell my investments to get paid, and I can work to slowly grow the cash flow. But the reason why so many people hate it is because it takes a long time to see any success. Again, that's why I call it a decade of sacrifice. It's a decade of working hard to spend less and earn more so you can invest like crazy. And in the first few years of your decade of sacrifice, you're not going to see really any returns. Year 4, you're going to start to see a little bit. Year 5, you'll see a little bit more. Year 6 and 7, now you start to see the impacts of all the hard work you did over the last number of years. Year 8 and 9, now you're starting to see more of the success, and by year 10, you will now recognize where you started. It's a completely different life. But most people don't have it in them to stay committed. But if you really want to become wealthy, it's kind of like becoming healthy. You got to stay committed to the lifestyle. It's not something you do for 6 months. You build a financially healthy lifestyle so you can live the rest of your life without having to worry about money ever again. If you enjoyed this clip and you want to continue your financial education journey, I have another video that I think you'll love. All you got to do is click that button right over there. And for those of you who want to stay up to date on the top finance and business news, you can join Market Briefs, my free financial newsletter, by clicking that button below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.